can see. So obviously we've got a host chat. So if you want to say anything, Rob, just put something into host chat, and then we're going to be able to hear it without anybody knowing. Yeah. So obviously we've got a bit to talk about today. So let's wait to people view. Obviously, some people join in, and then we can have a chat and see what we want to do.
Where would it
Awesome.
show up?
Oh, it
Where would it show how
is.
many people were like?
Oh, yeah. So it says how many people are actually viewing it. It does say obviously in the right hand. So obviously going forward, we're going to obviously ask a few questions about Rob because obviously you do enjoy your artwork and you are obviously quite creative with what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. So we've got Adam Fishwick here as well. Obviously, in my last podcast,
Hello.
which is really cool. Okay then. So going forward, let's give it a quick second. You said you've got to be gone by 2 o'clock, so just before 2.
Yeah, I'll probably leave at like 10 to.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Not a
Which
problem.
gives plenty of time.
Awesome. So let's jump straight into this chat. Obviously, how are we all today?
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, obviously, what have you been up to? Who was obviously watched any episodes? Obviously, Rob does his artwork. Any big finish? What I've been doing?
Been watching the Daemons recently. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that story. It's a really good story.
Mm.
The last
Good old
story
Puzzle.
I watched it was the Lodger, which I did do a live stream about, and I've been playing a bit of. I don't know if this will make sense to people who are watching this, but I've been playing a bit of Gary's mod, and you can add like the TARDISes and that, and the Weeping Angels, and that's a lot of fun. So I'll probably be making a video about that.
Yeah. I think that's interesting. I think Gary's mod I've never used personally.
Really good.
But I know it's one of them things I have noticed. I think I was listening to Brace for Darkness yesterday, which is a really good story.
Yeah, I really like that one.
I've not heard it in ages. It's one of them stories I started with when I was going from 8th Doctor on at the very start when I was getting to Big Finish, and then now me listening to it, it was like, oh my god, such a creepy, good, scary, good story.
Yeah, when Charlie's like, "You have no eyes." I don't know. I found that really creepy.
It's like it's a graphic story, but it's not a graphic story. That's how it feels because you can imagine how it would look if it was a television story.
Kind of feels reminiscent of like a dark PDA or VNA, if I'm being honest.
Oh yeah,
Just doesn't go quite that far.
The Gary Russell era of Who, of Big Finish. That's basically what it feels like. I think listen to the first 1 to 100. Was that Gary Russell's era? 1 to 100, that area?
Yeah, I think Nick started at like 90 something, so
Yeah.
practically is.
So basically, it all feels very adult. It feels it feels just very much its own story.
Feels kind of adult.
Oh
which
yeah,
is
it does.
refreshing.
Hey, my love for Doctor Who. So obviously going forward that then, let's go over some things today. So obviously new merch. Have we got any cool new merch recently? Anything we're looking at getting? Anything we have had a item?
Oh, the
Not
50th anniversary steelbook's out next week, I believe. So I'm excited to get that.
Yeah. What about yourself, Rob?
I mean, I'm a bit low on cash, as I'm sure you're aware. So
you got £140 subscription to Big Finish.
Minus £10, thank you very much. Nah. My birthday's coming up, so I feel like I treat myself.
Yeah, I mean, as Adam said, I've pre-ordered the Steelbook. I'm excited. I'm going to do a massive binge of the 50th set, obviously anniversary story. So name of the Doctor, night, day, and time of the Doctor. This month, that's going to be amazing. But this is obviously I am looking to get the more Big Finish. I've got a lot pre-ordered, so I definitely got a bit to look forward to. So obviously, let's go into the first subject where we can all have discussion. Big Finish stories we'd recommend. So obviously, I don't know if the audience or anyone joining in the future released Big Finish. If you do, then you really know what we're going to be on about. If not, where would you start? What would be a good story to get you, to say this is where you start with Big Finish?
I think there are loads of jumping on points. I think depending on what sort of fan you are would sort of depend on where you go. So I think maybe Out of Time with David and Tom would be a nice sort of like Fisher Price, my first Big Finish, or
that was
The
the
Light at the End.
greatest.
Oh, there's a Grace. Yeah, go on, the Grace. Confusing.
God, that's just going to
very fuckery.
confuse you if you start there.
No joke, that was my first Big Finish story almost, because it was 99p and there's a download, and my dad said, yeah, I'll give you it. I got it, and I was like, what's happening? What's happening in this story? What? Because thinking it was going to be one of Big Finish stories that you need no context. You needed like at least 10 story context.
Yeah, there's quite a long arc that you need to follow along.
Oh yeah,
to
of
actually
course
get.
there is.
But I still love it. You know,
classic
everyone says
spare
it's bad,
parts.
but it's good.
Spare Parts is
Parts,
always a classic
brilliant.
to get into because it really sets up. It's a villain, you know. It gives them a backstory. It was also a nice jumping on point to a Doctor, you know. Yeah.
I think that's when you start to realize that there's massive gaps and holes in the TV stories. So like there's about 40, 50 different stories just between Arc of Infinity and Time Flight, where there's just, you know, Tegan, no, Nessa and the Doctor. Like there's plenty of stories that you're just not aware of. And then the closer you look, there's just like gaps all over the place.
Oh yeah, exactly. Obviously, welcome to everyone watching. Thank you very much for watching there. So obviously, anyone watching, if you get any Big Finish recommendations, please say, and obviously we'll see what we. I think there's a lot of great gaps. Obviously, if you're looking at a new era of Big Finish, obviously this is Nick Briggs because you've got your Gary Russell eras that can really jump around points such as Storm Morning. I think personally you've got a lot of Nick Briggs jumping on points such as Stranded. Would you say that's one?
I feel like you need to. Sorry,
No,
go
on.
Oh,
no, I think we've got the same point there.
I feel like you need to listen to all of Doom Coalition and Ravenous to get that.
I heard because obviously I'm on Dr. Marathon. I'm on Ravenous now, which is amazing. So I heard it was a bit of a soft reboot, or not all in a sense, but it still had the context, but you didn't need so much.
It's got a very different tone, which you don't really have in Dark Eyes to Ravenous, which I think is, in one sense, could be a jumping on point. But I feel like because of the context that you need from those, Doom Coalition would be more of a better jumping on point because none of the plot points really follow through.
Yeah.
And from what despite what you may or may not have heard, Doom Coalition is a much better series than Dark Eyes.
Oh yeah, of course it is.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Doom Collision is a million times better than Dark Eyes. I mean, Dark Eyes was known before I listened to it as this big story arc, and I thought it was going to be really well written, all connected. But really, it's just adding on because, this is really popular. Let's make another 3 box sets. And you can really tell by the quality of stories. Unlike Doom Collision, it was all connected. Each villain that was introduced had a purpose, and you knew why they had a purpose. So I think Doom is still fantastic. And the 4th box set, there's not one bad story. Not one bad story there. That's the best thing about it.
Yeah.
I think the Weeping Angel story is really good. That was a good story. The weakest, but still not a bad story. And the first story in the 4th set, obviously, that was really good.
Oh, I think the Big Finish that I can probably just recommend for each Doctor is I can't really say much about Hartnell, Troughton, or Perch because I haven't really heard much of them. But I'll probably say for Perch, it's probably just the Doctor Adventures.
They're brilliant. I think that people forget Pertwee has his companion chronicles. Obviously, that focus on Liz, on obviously Joe. You even got a short trip to some of Sarah. So you've got a few nice little gaps in between Pertwee's era. It can really sum up a few adventures. Prime Ward, obviously, me and Rob have heard that. Prime Ward is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it brings back Liz, but in an interesting way. It's not like Liz is the character that, hey Doctor, shall I jump on another adventure? Without spoilers, she comes back in a shocking way. Yeah.
Although what I find funny is that Liz doesn't necessarily have a proper ending. So after Inferno, there are plenty of stories after that. And I think Scales of Injustice is like her leaving unit. But then there are plenty of times that she just drags the Doctor back into her life time and time again throughout the Joe Grant era.
The Doctor really misses
a story directly after Terror of the Autons, where Liz just goes on an adventure with them, and it's just like, but
Oh,
he's with
I
Jonah.
started listening to that Sentiments of a New Dawn. I got to part 2, and I'm 2014. And I'm like, what? It's an interesting story. I think there's a lot of good jumping on points.
Yeah.
There's not much Sarah Jane Third Doctor, is there? Like, obviously that's going to change when the new Third Doctor set comes out. But at the moment, really, there's not a massive amount of Sarah.
Yeah,
in
it's mainly just short trips and novels, isn't it?
Yeah, because we've not had Olivia Sladen when she was alive. She never did anything like that. And I think personally, there's not much choice. You've got season 11, and that's it a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So I think Third Doctor and Sarah are just a very underrated team, personally.
Although for me personally, I think Sarah doesn't really properly come into her own until Tom Baker. Like, there's a massive tonal shift with the character from season 11 and 12. And
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, whether I do like Sarah with John, but I just feel like he works so much better with Liz and Joe that it just doesn't compare when he's with Sarah.
I agree.
But we do have a lot of nice moments, to be fair.
Yeah,
We do have some really good moments where you watch it, but yeah, you can see us in friendship.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good ones there. So obviously, a quick one now. So going forward, let's recommend obviously a Big Finish story. We personally recommend. So one story that really sums up your experience that got you to love Big Finish. I'll let Adam start.
Light at the End. That was my first one.
That's an interesting
I
one.
think it's just such a good anniversary for the classic Doctors.
I've re-listened to that recently, and I'm going to be honest. I thought it was a bit messy. I'm not going to lie to you. It's like I listened to it. I know what it's trying to do, but
I feel
it's
like
trying to squeeze so much in.
I feel like it's not like a story that it has to be great. I think it's just a nice sort of anniversary to get all the Doctors.
Yeah.
In some
I think
respects,
I prefer,
because
if
it
I'm going to
tries
pick a
to do.
story.
No, go on.
Yeah.
I was
I
because
think Jeffrey
think
Beavers, the Master's awesome.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the whole ideas, they're really good. But then again, I just think it's just a bit messy how it does something. I listened to it like a couple of weeks back because I remember having such high regard for it. And I'm thinking, I don't enjoy it as much as I want to enjoy it.
Yeah,
That's,
I think there's so many Doctors and so many things that it tries to do that it crumbles under its own weight. Like, there's just not enough time in a
it doesn't.
2 hour story for it.
Yeah, and I think lighter. I personally think then going Legacy of Time is much better because it has like all these separate stories, and then the last scene is a big payoff, and you really feel the payoff because it's a big commitment to listen to like is it 9, 8 stories? How many stories is there?
I
Is
think
it
there's
8
six.
stories?
6.
6, yeah. It's a big commitment for 6 1-hour stories, and then the bit ending really pays off.
Especially when some are rubbish. At least, well, in
Literally.
my opinion. I
What
know
which
everyone
one is?
loves and raves about it, but I wasn't keen on the Split Infinitive and what's the one with Charlie and Colin? Avenues
Oh
of
yeah,
Possibility.
yeah.
Those two I wasn't particularly keen on, but the other ones I did really enjoy.
I loved
Sacrifice.
the Joe Grant story.
Yeah, the Sacrifice of Joe Grant's really good.
That was beautiful. That was such a beautiful. I think it's how it handled Joe meeting Pertwee again, and obviously when you got Kate and then speaking to her father, which was really yeah.
Can I just say, John Coleshaw's impression of the Brigadier is uncanny.
It is. You listen to his audio books, obviously Return of the Master, and then you've got was it Revenge of the Master or Return of the Master?
Terror of the Master.
Terror of the Master. I wasn't even close. And then, for
Grey Man
example,
of the Mountain.
Oh, of course. Speaking of that story, I'm going to be honest. I think it had a great atmosphere. It had a great setup, and then as it went on, it was like, oh, that
like
was
it hits
what it
all the right
was.
beats, but there's something wrong with it.
Yeah, I think the Brigadier, and I think it was hinting at a bit relationship with the female captain Ace in that story.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of hints, even in the classic era, where Ace may not necessarily be straight, or at least she might be,
I think she was bisexual. She was definitely bisexual. But I think personally that there was a lot of little hints between Female Captain and Ace. Something could have been there, which I did say. But I enjoyed it. The Brigadier was awesome, and I just think it just missed a mark. Between the second and third, but the fourth part, it was like, oh, I don't know. They just walked away from the camp like, yeah, we did this, we're fine.
I feel like this year's of monthly range stories is particularly strong. I've heard most of them. I think there's just one or two I haven't, but they've overall been really good, which you don't
Yeah,
often get. Like normally it's about maybe 6 or 5 that are like really stand out, and the others are just they're okay. But I think
yeah,
this year it's just been just month after month of just hits the right beat, great story, great story.
yeah. Gonna be honest, can't quite the Fifth Doctor, Slovene, and obviously
Didn't find
story.
that.
I'm not a fan of it. I think the first story of Fifth Doctor was good. I mean, that was really. I think the ending. Obviously, there's going to be some spoilers here, guys. Obviously, whether the 11th Doctor's there, that was really good. That was a great lesson in the second story. The Slovene were wasted. There's nothing new with them. They were just boring. And I think overall, I'm just a bit like, well, it was a wasted potential story. And I think you could have done so much more as a story. I just wasn't very happy with it at all.
Yeah, I think Time Apart was a much stronger story. Having said that, I did really like the how the companions were sort of like dealing with the outbreak of
Yeah,
last year's Warzone conversion.
yeah.
But I think
I
you're
love
right.
that.
I
Love
think
that
it wasn't
aspect.
as strong as it could have been.
What about you, Adam? You heard that set? Have you heard them stories yet or not?
No, I haven't yet. I need to.
Well,
Yeah,
what's from this year have you heard? I
Sorry.
know you heard the Constance and Flip stuff, haven't you?
Yeah, I've read quite a lot of Constance and Flip, just mostly for them being together, and I just absolutely love those two companions. I think they work
oh,
so
Flip
well.
and Constance are
They
fantastic.
just work so
It's
well.
like
The Sixth
Ken's
Doctor.
definitive companion with Evelyn.
Mm.
I really love. I wish they were team companions sometimes, obviously, because they were just fantastic. And with the Sixth Doctor, and you kind of want more of them. And I've realised, oh, is there more I need to listen to? And I've listened to more than like 80% of them, and there's only a couple of stories I've not heard. Like, they've not had much.
Yeah,
No.
it's just I really hope that they're
They
going to
really
do
haven't.
more.
Yeah,
I
precisely.
think one of the first box sets post monthly range will be with Colin and Miranda and Flip.
Yeah,
Lisa.
Lisa.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good. So obviously moving on from Big Finish section. Obviously, Rob, you do your artwork. Obviously, you're a bit of
Yeah.
a fan for your artwork. Okay, so obviously, do you have a particular? Tell us about your artwork and what you particularly like doing. What inspires you to do it?
You on about the Doctor Who ones or?
Yeah, mainly Doctor Who ones. Yeah, obviously, tell us all
Mm.
about it.
Yeah, I'm really interested in Photoshop, and I enjoy that sort of side of digital creating. And obviously, Lee Binding is a huge influence.
Oh yeah,
Clayton Hickman as well. I think maybe I see myself as a bit of a blend between those two, with maybe Tom Webster and loads of them, merged in. If these names don't ring any bells, then most
I
Big
mean,
Finish and DVD covers are made by them.
what's your name on Instagram? Do you have a particular name where people can check your work out?
Yeah.
If you haven't, obviously check this out. Obviously, I mean, if anyone's heard of World Traders, which is a new Fourth Doctor story, obviously from a box set, I mean, Rob's done a really cool Leela and Huntress for Cat, which is
Oh,
really cool.
thanks. Yeah.
Uh,
I did a bit of sketching with Leela and the cat, just sort of like
yeah,
imagining what they'd look
I
like.
love that cat. We were speaking about it briefly. I think the cat just overall when Leela's on the rooftop of it saying, "We will we'll have a good Huntress." And it was so cute. I love Leela. That relationship's out there.
Yes, Doctor Who artwork on Instagram.
Doctor
If you
Who are
can.
awesome. Check that out. I'm going to be honest. My cover is literally Rob's Power of the Daleks because it's
Oh, that's so sweet. I didn't even know that. That means a lot to me.
yeah. It's Power of the Daleks because I love the artwork. It's really good artwork. Check it out because there's lots of good stuff. You even did me some custom covers, which I know a few people did get message you for,
Yeah.
which was really cool. Obviously, Adam, you're doing a bit of art. You try a bit of Photoshop yourself.
Yeah, obviously I'm nowhere near as good as Rob is, but it's fun to do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the best thing about it. It's like no matter what skill level you're at, it's always
Mm.
fun.
Of course. I mean, I personally can't. I tried, and it's just a bit one of the things I need to get into. But personally, it's amazing, obviously, how you guys do it. Obviously, you're getting better at it. Rob's really good, so it's something to always get better with. And okay,
Yeah,
last thing,
thank you.
obviously, regarding it, what's some future artwork you're working on? Do you have any particular stories you want?
Um, I mean, earlier I mentioned I've been watching the Daemons, so that sort of got me into doing a bit of artwork for that. Actually, am I able to share my screen? I could always
Yeah, you are actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
give a
it's
bit
on
of
the
a
left-hand
tidbit
side.
with that.
yeah. If you share your screen, get some work shown. It's
Just loading up.
obviously you got a business
Photoshop.
going. Have you ever considered selling some artwork off and potentially people really want it?
Yeah, I think I would like to sell Doctor Who art prints. I need to look at the legal side of that because obviously I don't own the copyright of Doctor Who, but I know there is a way where you can legally sell fan art. And so once I know whether I can physically do it, I'll probably set up a shop on Etsy or something.
Awesome, do that. I mean, obviously when that's ready, we'll obviously tell you guys about it, see if anything will really interest you. Yeah, if you want to share your screen, obviously show us some really cool artwork you've done. And we'll move on obviously to the next question, but we're going to touch on in the last video. Awesome. So obviously my love for Doctor Who has come watching tons of Star Wars on our
screen being shared.
Yeah, I'm about to show it now. In 3, 2, 1. There you go.
So it's not much at the moment. I'm just sort of like playing around with ideas. So you can see you've got Bok, the Doctor there, and the Master.
Blue screen.
We can't see it.
Can't see it, Rob.
We can't see it, dude.
Oh, right, yeah, of course. Now can you see it?
No.
We can't.
No? Oh.
Yeah, we can see it. We can see it. We can see it.
Oh, you can see it?
You have it, yeah.
Yeah, so this isn't much. It's just me sort of playing around with ideas on what I might do. But it's a start.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's how you get ideas, and it's a really good start so far. I think the Daemons is just one of them classic stories I kind of love. It's a timeless story, in my opinion. I think the location is timeless within itself.
The classics.
Yeah, so before we move on to the next subject, something obviously, because we're all location nerds here, let's just be honest. All that sort of Doctor Who family, we love the locations where these actors stood. So let's talk about some of our experience and locations. I mean, this is going to be to a certain Doctor Who fan, but to us, it's really big. So, what really cool memories do you have with Doctor Who locations?
Probably
I'll let Adam start.
Probably when we all met up for the first time in Cardiff, and I did a whole vlog about the weekend we had there. It's on my YouTube channel. You can check it out if you want. But no, we've just been everywhere, like Llandaff, which was where Ledworth was filmed.
It was so close to Rob.
Yeah, it was.
It was mad because for about 3-4 months I'd been walking to and from uni, walking through that area. Like when I first walked, I was like, "Oh, this looks familiar." Nah, that's probably not a location. And then it wasn't until about Christmas when I was like on holiday back elsewhere that I realized, hang on a minute, that's Ledworth. It's mad. Sometimes you'd be in the same area for like months on end and you have no idea. But then as soon as it clicks, it will change forever, and it's an amazing location.
It is a great. In fact, it hasn't changed from the Duck Pond was CGI. So obviously that is the 11th hour.
It wasn't CGI; it was practical. But yeah, they made their own duck pond. So if you ever go there wanting to see it,
that was the 11th hour. Just in case you guys know that, which is awesome. I'll tell you which one I was very weird with. I never knew. It was Curse of Fenwick. So I've gone Dorset a lot, so I learned Curse of Fenwick was at this one place I used to go all the time. So I never knew about the first 2 times, and I looked at this. Now I don't know if you guys have seen the Curse of Fenwick. Do you remember where the joke at the start of episode 1 where obviously the boats are coming in and the arc back?
Yeah.
I've been there and I looked at it and I knew it, but I didn't know it. And I was watching it. I was like, wait a minute. I've been there and I didn't even realise that was a location. So I went back again, found the location, and it still looks the same, which is amazing. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And I was looking for the beach. It's where, obviously, Maiden's Point was where the Humivores would have been walking. And I found it because I couldn't find it, but it was in such plain sight. Because you expect it to be such a special place, but it isn't. It's such a basic place where you don't really expect it.
Yeah. And did you have a similar experience with Ghostlight?
Yeah, so I used to go Weymouth years ago, and Ghostlight was shot in Weymouth for the exterior of the house. So looking at the house, and I was thinking, wait a minute, I've been living near a location for years, and I've not even noticed. I just love the fact that we went over and the people knew it was a location. They knew
Yeah,
they've had people come up to the house many times, and that's a funny thing.
yeah. It's like they see a couple of people skulking around the house, and it's like, oh, it must be one of them. And every time
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like,
still one of them. Mm.
what are you doing here?
There's also Theatre Doom filmed, obviously, in Dorset as well, which is the main area with the mansion, which we really want to go to, which we never had a
Oh,
chance
I'd love to visit
go
that.
to there. There's
And
also
about
the Great Shem Galaxy, which has been knocked down just sad because a lot of it was a quarry and survival. But I think there's if you're ever in Dorset, guys, there's a great amount of locations to go to because
I mean, about 20 minutes away, there's this little village where they filmed The Awakening, which I really want to visit. I don't know why I haven't done it yet.
oh yeah,
It's so close, and I haven't been there yet. So
I'm proud I've
that's
been to
I want
Arkham
to do
Finished
that.
locations. That's one that I'm really happy because overseas locations are really hard or a bit more unique to go to.
I haven't been to
Well,
any.
obviously, no, go on.
I haven't been
Hmm?
to any classic locations yet. I really want to. I would like to go to Remembrance of the Daleks. No.
Yeah, so me and Simone almost went there.
Did
We
you?
almost went there.
It's in London, isn't it?
Yeah, so we were near Freddie Mercury's house. So was when we were in London, me and my partner. So we were near Freddie Mercury's and was a Queen fan, obviously, for a big wall and see Mary's house, which is amazing to be a Queen fan. And it's like a 30-minute ride away, but we had no way to get there. And we didn't want to get random tubes trying to find it because it was just a bit difficult and a bit late in the day. So we thought, yeah, I'm going to have to miss it this time. But I did regret it because I love that story. And I want to go under the bridge where the Imperials and Renegades were with special weapons were fighting. That's the location we'll go to.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I'd love to visit that
Yeah.
location as well.
I remember when we all went to the Hand of Fear. Obviously me, you and Harry.
Oh, Hand of Fear, that was a brilliant day.
That was so
I've
good.
actually got the picture here. Where is it? There we go.
Yeah, if you want to put it on share it again.
Oh, it's annoying. I have to.
Oh,
There we
that's
go.
awesome.
That's awesome.
That's such a good location. Oh god, I love the day ones. Went with Harry, and the best thing about the day ones was it was an amazing day. So it was really sunny. So we literally just sat on the church where the Master and Yates were, and Benton would have been. They just lined them at one area and literally had food at the pub, and it was amazing. I think location hunting itself is just really brings out the Doctor Who fandom, really respect, and it's just amazing to see where these things were filmed.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I went to Paris with my family. I'd be spotting like all these locations from City of Death and the Girl in the Fireplace, and it's just like it's mad.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, that's just a building. That's just a street." It's like, yes, but to me, it means something.
Of course, that's a lot of it. And it's said when you see a lot of the McCoy locations have been knocked down. That's the sad thing.
Mm.
A lot don't exist, you'd be surprised. Even though the first ever location of the Reign of Terror still exists.
Yeah, it does. Whereabouts is that? Was that in the north or Wales or?
Buckinghamshire, that's Buckman.
What? Oh yeah.
Buckinghamshire. Yeah, I would love to go to Paris. That's the first time I'm going to Paris yet. Just go to that walking in
You
that
should
one.
organise a holiday for us to go
Oh.
there.
Yeah, I feel like we should just organise a massive holiday all over Europe, like Lanzarote, Seville,
Oh
Venice.
yeah. Planet Fire location would be amazing to go to. I mean, there's a lot of good ones. So obviously with that, then obviously my love Doctor Who said I'm definitely going to try and go on locations this year. Awesome, do it if you can. Obviously, just be careful of COVID. Obviously, Cardiff is a great place to start, but obviously, I think I just love going to all these different locations away from Cardiff because there's a lot of good ones. Tell you one of those ones to go to: Evil of the Daleks.
Where do they film? Was
That
at
was
the airport?
outside London. That was in the hotel near
Oh
like
yes.
the hotel outside. That is one I've always wanted to go to. That's a dream location.
I tell you
That's
what, one I was really disappointed I was never able to do was when I was with my ex when I went down Cornwall. We were about half an hour away from the smugglers filming locations, and that's one I've always wanted to go to because it's like right on the edge of the UK, like the very edge border. And I couldn't make it there, which is it's sad.
Yeah.
So at one time I will.
I've been close to Destiny with Darks and Underwater Men's locations. every time, and I've not been able to go because you need a car, and I'm not going to drive into a few areas. It's the fact that they use the exact same location. If you look up Telesonic Constructions and the Destiny of Dark Super Sea, it's the exact same place. Literally. But yeah, apart from that, that's awesome. I don't. But yeah, if any of you guys obviously can get a chance to any locations, do it. It's amazing. I think my partner's a bit fed up. She's like, yeah, more locations. It's not just location.
It's not just location.
Yeah, I think there are two types of fans: ones that doesn't care about it, and ones that do.
I've said to her when we go to Paris, she's going to have to one day at least half of the first day, one of the day, half the days. We're going to go around the city left, and possibly
you
James
could both
Bond.
do that and do tourist stuff anyway, because there's the Louvre. Obviously, that art gallery, they've got the Mona Lisa. People will want to go there anyway.
Yeah.
They filmed a lot of Doctor Who there, and other movie things like Da Vinci Code and stuff like that. Got the Eiffel Tower. They filmed that bit with Romana and the Doctor and Duggan and stuff like that.
Bye, Duggan.
And a Big Finish location. Technically, it counts. Like the Monster of Montmartre. You can visit Montmartre. I think that's just outside the around the outskirts. But there's plenty of
locations,
Doctor Who areas, and obviously, what's the palace?
I know what you're talking about.
Madame de Pompadour's thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they filmed the very beginning shot, with the building shot, and then it panned up into space.
Yeah.
That is the one shot they filmed in Paris, because the rest was in a place in Wales that we didn't get to. But
we almost made it to that location.
I remembered,
but because of COVID and event, it ruined it.
I remembered when we when it was me, Aaron, Rob, and Sean and Harry. We just travelled in Harry's car, and then we went there, and then the woman just told us like, "Oh yes, you have to pay to go in." It's like, oh.
You have to book and pay.
Yeah.
Well, let's go tomorrow. But what made it worse was we had Sean's wheelchair on us. It was boiling hot. All come together, no space. Winter open.
At least you two were lucky enough to go in the front and get a bit of space. I was in the back all the way.
We had to take time. Literally swap to go in the front every time.
Yeah, because he said his chair could fold up, and then he says, "Oh, actually, no, only the wheels come off," which that's not the same.
Yeah,
but,
it was just annoying.
We made it,
and then we were basically suffocating with each other and boiling, and it was a pain, but it was fun. It was a fun pain.
I was the one who had to suffer with Sean's chair because it was right into my stomach. Like, I'm getting fucking stabbed here.
Oh my god! It's for the atrocious gentleman. He's
the atrocious gentleman.
What about the time we were location hunting, Harry?
Hi, Harry.
With the wheelchair on us. You were on the front driving me a time, chilling sometime. And there was us just like with a massive heavy ass chair stabbing into us. Oh man, that was fucking good. So obviously location sorted. That's a definitely visit for awesome. Obviously going forward, we're also going to talk about some obviously B&M sets. Obviously the second last subject today. Obviously you're not massive on B&M sets, Adam. That's not personally your thing, but Rob, for yourself, what do you think of the new B&M sets that have been released?
I haven't got many of them just because I haven't been able to afford them or have anywhere to go and get them. But for the ones that I have got, I really love. You used to be getting me some before long, which is exciting because I can actually get some. And thank you for Harry. I needed that Harry Sullivan, and I'm glad I've got it. I think the Romana figure was really good. That sort of adaptation of the Sarah Jane figure. That's brilliant.
Yeah. I've picked up all of them because I'm a completionist and I've had a bit of money coming in. So I basically purchased them from like sellers on like Facebook marketing. So they buy bulk, they bulk buy a bunch of sets and they sell them to people. So they don't keep them for themselves and they sell them at really cheap prices, what you would normally pay. So that's how I've managed to get them. Android, by the way, David Price said, "Hey guys, go and visit the Android location when when you can. Okay, apparently it's a lovely village with the Android location. That's definitely
Yeah,
a
it
plan.
looks like a good one. I really want to visit it at some point.
Same.
Harry, you're
But I managed to get. Yeah.
Harry, you're not Harry Sullivan.
You're
You're an atrocious
not
gentleman.
James Bond.
I am James Bond.
People actually know that reference. Well done. So I think I managed to get all of the NM sets, which is amazing. So obviously I've got like 6 Daleks with the 12 Davros set got in my post. That's amazing. My dad actually purchased obviously the 2 Imperial Ace sets and the Davros set. I really love the Davros figure because it's just beautiful. It's some really good likeness to it. I love the Dalek Master Plan set personally. I think that's a really amazing set. Flame Dalek, the Supreme, obviously, which we'll get obviously giving you at some point. So yeah, I've got 3 Supremes and I just really love it.
Yeah, that original Twizzler set with the first Doctor and the Supreme Dalek. That was one I always wanted to get and I never could.
Oh, it's so expensive.
I was lucky enough to pick up the Enemies of the First Doctor set, so I already have that Flame Dalek, which is awesome. But that was the Supreme Dalek was the Dalek I always wanted. There were 2, and that was one of them. And hopefully at some point I can get some 80s Daleks. I'd love to get the Imperials and the Renegades and all of that.
I've managed to buy 1 Renegade a while back, and I've got now things. Imperials are my ultimate favorite Daleks. I love the Imperial Daleks to bits. So they're always so rare. It was like £90 just for the one, and I was like, no, I'm not paying that. So getting like a bunch of them for like obviously Christmas occasions, and it was great. I'm happy we got them now. I've even managed to get the special weapons as a 5.5-inch figure back in the day. So that's my little remembrance army kind of getting bigger now, which I'm happy with. I only need Davros now as a proper figurine.
I think the one Dalek that I'm just treasuring the most is the anti-reflective Lightwave Dalek from Planet of the Daleks, because that was such a difficult one to find. Such a
So how
mouthful.
Williams has said, I think we need a giant bat figure from Talos. I mean, yeah, we do. I think
we need the Leela figure for that, in every detail.
I think we need the master figure from Time Flight. When he's. I think
Looks like a washing machine doing in a pub. Jesus, I need a drink.
I want to say that. I think we need a giant rat figure from Talons.
Got to say that there was a really nice pub outside the Bad Wolf Bay. Like, just go. I don't think you've actually been to it, Adam, because it was really busy. But in the past, when we visited it, it's such a lovely little pub.
It is. We went when it was raining and it was really cold, so we went and had a drink. It was chill. Hannah says, more importantly, with Vendalius, you need a baby for now. I do, but I can't find one, Hannah, because I've thrown it away. It was in the packaging and I've thrown it away.
I'm annoyed at that, at the wording there, because he doesn't need a baby Fendal, and he's a baby Fendaline. Learn your Doctor Who trivia.
Fendaline, mate. I know what it is. I know what I'm talking about. But I threw it away and I realised it because I was doing a big clear out before I moved to Holland. Got rid of all my packaging because it was just sitting there and I didn't need it. And then I said, shit, I just chucked my skull and my Fendaline away.
Bad move. That was not pod racing.
You can handle yourself.
Inside references.
That's basically our little Star Wars Battlefront joke we play. Is funny. I know, I'm sorry, Hannah. I can't believe I did that. To anyone actually understanding these peep show references or references in general, I doubt they will, but thank you for trying anyway. Obviously, moving on, we've also got the last thing we're going to talk about, God, is some episodes. Obviously, each Doctor we really think defines an era. I mean, obviously, this could be missing. It doesn't have to be one episode. It can be any episode. So if you start with number 1, which is obviously going to be the Roof Doctor.
No.
No.
It's the,
I mean, if we're gonna go to new canon, we're kind of gonna have to say Future of Jadoon. Sorry. You watched Hannah, Phantom Menace is underrated. So obviously, let's go from Hartnell and possibly see what we each Doctor is fairly and see how we feel. Hartnell then. We'll start with Adam and then Rob, and I'll go myself. What's a Hartnell episode you really think defines the year?
I really like the War Machines and the Time Meddler. Those are great 2 stories.
Very.
Yeah, I think you can't necessarily define Hartnell with just one era because it's split between historic and sci-fi, and I think those 2 stories are really good. Adam,
I
very
think
good choices.
Time Meddler. There's got to be a story that really it has the hard sci-fi. It also has the hard, obviously historicalness, which is really good. I think it's generally a really good story.
Personally, for me, I'd go Dalek's Master Plan, and
yeah.
Oh, I don't know about which historical. Might have to go the Smugglers. Although I'm half tempted to go.
I would say Smugglers. I would say it's a really good story, but I personally, if anything, I would say the Aztecs. It really defines the historical for the Hartnell.
Yeah, it's sort of like
the mask probably, but that's a close one.
I think just because of how little the Doctor's in it, you can't necessarily call it that. Although it is a great character piece for Stephen.
Oh yeah, of course. Mask is. I mean, obviously, if anyone's not seen it, it's such a good story. Honestly, moving on. What about Hartnell? What about Troughton? Okay, again, start with Adam. What do you think, Adam?
You see, with Troughton, it's a tricky one because he's got so many good stories. This is probably going to be like a sort of unpopular opinion, but I'm going to have to say the Mind Robber. It's a crazy, weird one, but I like it.
Oh, the Mind Robber is awesome. It is a great one. I mean, Simone loves that story. Okay, I'm going to have to say personally, if I'm going to go on with that then, my favourite Troughton. There's so many, but Fury from the Deep, just because it's got the base on it's got the monster. It's typical Troughton story. Season 6 wasn't a typical story. It was doing something new. But Season 5 was Troughton at a typical cliched story, and I kind of love it for that. What about yourself, Bob?
Yeah, I was going to say Fury from the Deep. I loved Teddy Snap, and then when it got animated, I loved it even more.
Yeah.
And that ending scene is so like I still believe that it's sadder than the Green Death. Like I think Victoria's exit is the most heartbreaking.
Oh yeah,
exit.
That is. Obviously, I love it. I think I've always been a fan of that story. But so obviously, moving to Pertwee, the main man himself. That's a really tough one. What is a story you really love about Pertwee era?
Oh, Inferno. I've just always adored that story. It's one of Pertwee's best. And if you don't agree with this, then you, sir, are a nitwit.
Oh my god, Inferno's fantastic. Season 7, it's just amazing. There was recent videos watching, and it was like these people saying, well, Season 7 was the definitive John Pertwee era season.
You know, I think the definitive Pertwee story has to be Zagreus. No, of course not. It's really hard to pick. Like, there's just so many good. I feel like it has to be a Joe Grant story. As much as I love Inferno, I think she's just like the standout companion.
Right.
So for
I'm going to say Sea Devils or Terrible Bottoms.
The Sea Devils is a good one. I think I'm going to have to say the Sea Devils. Yeah.
Harry Williams has his correct opinion. The Ultimate Adventure is his best story.
Oh my god! Yeah, I completely forgot. Or
if the Ultimate Adventure is the best story for Pertwee, we need more
is the best Pertwee story.
Oh yeah, you know what? Time Lash is the best Pertwee story. Here's a hymns Time Lashes.
You know what? Nah. I think it's the next Doctor when he got flashed with the others. That was his best appearance.
What about the 11th Hour? Clearly, that's the best one because his part in that story is just great. All right, okay. So Tom Baker. All right. So personally, I'll start with Tom Baker now. I think I don't really know with Tom Baker. There's a lot of great stories in his era, but there's a lot of ones I don't really know. But it's got to be his early stuff.
I was going to say Robots of Death.
Oh yeah, Robots of Death is a great story. I'm gonna have Talons.
Talons the Wing Triangle for me, just because Jago and Lightfoot are in it.
I'm gonna have to say
Underworld.
Tale of Zygons. Fucking Underworld. Hey guys,
no,
what's blown?
not Underworld.
We were watching Underworld and we literally almost fell asleep.
Gonna do another cheeky little plug for my artwork.
Yeah.
Because I decided to make some artwork for Underworld. Maybe I'm mad, but I don't know. I'm quite happy with how I made it.
You make Underworld
it looks good. You make it look watchable.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's awful. Underworld is horrible. Hello, Alex. So, I think the Fifth Doctor possibly. There's a lot of good ones. But I'm going to be really cliched and say the Visitation. I do love that story for him if it's just TV based. What do we?
Visitation. I would have to say again, unpopular opinion, Black Orchid. It's just a nice two-parter. It's kind of a bit like Unicorn and the Wasp.
Yeah, I get that. It definitely is in a lot of ways.
Don't know if
Black Orchid.
Oh no, go on.
Yeah.
I don't know if mine is too cliche, but I'm gonna have to say the Caves of Androzani. It's just Peter Davison works the best when he's in a really dark situation, and it's a brilliant story. Like the only bad thing I can think of that story is the bat armadillo creature thing. But honestly, apart from that, it's a stellar story.
It is. It's fantastic. I love the Caves of Androzani. It's I think best favorite story. Necromantia, clearly, guys. Just a separate character.
No, you're thinking of Thin Time. Thin Time is his best.
Sorry. Oh god, Necromantia and Thin Time. They're the best Peter Davison stories. They are the best ones. All right, Colin Baker. Let's move on with Time Lash is the best story of all time. Screw Big Finish. It's not canon. Big Finish never canon. It's just Time Lash. I'm joking. That's blasphemy what I just said. What do we think of Colin Baker?
The Marin Conspiracy.
Oh, that's a great one. There's so many good Colin Baker stories. I can't really put my finger on one sometimes.
I think if we just narrow it down to just the telly stuff, I'm gonna have to say The Two Doctors.
Yeah, I agree.
Like it's probably his best TV story, for me personally. But I know a lot of people are going to say Vengeance on Varos.
I'm gonna have to say Vengeance on Varos. I'm afraid for TV, just because Two Doctors for me, it misses a lot of marks. Triton's appearance is always welcoming, but I'm not a fan of it. I just think it misses a lot of marks, contributes some wrong things. When Triton is an Androgum, it's kind of pointless. It's funny but pointless. And in that moment, you could have more chemistry with Baker and Triton than just them having a appearance, saying goodbye near the end, and that's it. It was just a bit of a waste opportunity, I suppose. I'm going to be honest.
Although having said that, I do like how they don't really focus on them meeting too much. Like they've got a few nice moments, but ultimately there's more to the story than just fan wank.
But you want us? I kind of want them to meet. I know what you're saying. It's understandable. Attack the Cyberman, Alex says, is the best Colin story. It's a good one. I kind of like the second, but I think the second half goes downhill. But I do like it a lot. McCoy. Okay, so
Adam, what's your? Oh no, yeah, I forgot you said Marin Conspiracy, didn't you?
Yeah, no. For TV, I have to say The Two Doctors.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who doesn't like the Two Doctors? I feel like I'm the only one who doesn't like it. Am I an atrocious choice?
McCoy then.
You know, McCoy is going to have to be a bit Big Finish, I'm afraid. But I personally think, obviously, Gods and Monsters is a really, really great story. The Harvest, possibly, but if I'm going to go into a TV era, then it's probably going to be Ghostlight or Curse of Fenric.
Yeah, I was going to say Ghostlight.
Or Great Galaxy, possibly.
I don't know. I'm not that keen on Greatest Show. Like everyone loves it, but whenever I watch it, I don't know.
It's a really good story. I think it's grown on me over a lot of years just because of my appreciation for it. What about yourself, Adam? Best McCoy story?
Ooh.
Can be Big Finish, can be TV series. It's cool.
Well, for Big Finish, I'm gonna have to say Protect and Survive because I really enjoyed that story.
That's a companion story. I would say that it's a good one.
And for the TV, I'm just going to be awkward. I'm going to have to say Remembrance of the Daleks because it was my first classic I bought, and I just love it so much.
It's a great story. But we're missing the best McCoy pins, guys. Dimensions in Time.
Nah.
Guys, Dimension Time is canon, and if you don't agree, then obviously we're all fake fans, apparently.
Yeah, you're all a fake fan because you
If
like
you don't agree,
Dimensions in Time.
Dimension Time happened, but Rob refuses to accept that.
It doesn't show up on the timelines. I've done my research.
It happened. How was it referenced in a book then?
Because it was a reference, just like Doctor Who references anything and everything.
It's a reference,
Doesn't mean it's
mate.
canon.
It's a reference. It happened. It happened. Dimension
It's
Time
like
is
Leela's the
canon.
Doctor's mum.
I mean, yeah. So moving on, we're going to go forward with Megan. Now, obviously, he's had this TV movie, of course, as well as another Doctor. But what do we personally prefer? Obviously, he's got a bit of Big Finish to go into.
I think just for this category, we probably have to count Big Finish as for our best story.
Yeah, we're going to count. Of course. Personally, I'm not a certain story, but if it comes to Doom Collision all around, I'm going to count that as what I've particularly experienced with the Eighth Doctor. Not one story, but the whole story arc is just really great.
Oh, the Eighth Doctor. That's. I have to say the Silver Turk. I think that's just such a good Cyberman story.
That's a really good one.
That's a good one.
So many.
Night of the Doctor, I think, is really good. I really enjoy Night of the Doctor.
Night of the Doctor is a decent one.
It is.
Just seeing Paul back, it makes me happy seeing Paul. It still has a role. Okay, so obviously, because of yourself, Rob, you've got to go in that 15 minutes. Obviously, so quick one there. If we move on, what about the War Doctor, John Hurt? Now, do you have any particular stories? Because obviously, I know you guys have heard a lot of his Big Finish. I've not heard a massive amount, but I can say, obviously.
Sorry to interrupt. I've got a phone call. I'll be back in a minute.
No problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm in the majority, if I'm in the minority, but I'm not actually keen on his Big Finish. I just think that for what was sort of like alluded to and what we actually saw, it was very underwhelming, very humdrum. So I'm probably gonna have to say Engines of War.
Guys,
Engines of War was a good.
I've got to get going now. It's been absolutely great being in this live stream.
No problem.
Thanks for everyone who joined.
Yeah.
I'll quickly say my favourite War Doctor story. It's got to be Only the Monstrous, the first box set.
Sure.
Right.
All right.
See you all, guys.
I'll see you later, Adam. Yeah, have a good one. See you later.
Bye, Adam.
Bye.
So I think, Rob, we should finish off ourselves really quickly, so you've got to head off yourself. Really quickly, so let's jump off with Eccleston. So you can count this one.
Why can't I think of it? The Unquiet Dead.
Really? I like that one. I saw an article actually saying that it's Eccleston's Forgotten Christmas Story, which I agree with, though. I'm going to have to say, personally, Bad Wolf Pardon of the Ways, I love that story to bits. That is
a very good one, isn't it?
That's such a great story. I think it is a bit dated, Bad Wolf, personally, because you got Trin Suzanne, Weakest Link, that even shows anymore in air nowadays, as far as I'm aware. So,
yeah, I mean, I didn't even know about them when I was watching it, back in 2005. Obviously, I knew about the Weakest Link and what was the other game show?
It was like Trin and Suzanne.
Oh, and
Big Brother, which is still on. People know Big Brother still. That's not.
How is that still on?
It's like it's even on Dutch TV. It was a Dutch version of Big Brother. Yeah. All right. So obviously, Eccleston, Tennant. I mean, I think Tennant's got now tons of Big Finish going with. So I don't really know what to think. I'm gonna say Human Nature, Family of Blood. Still, because I think that's such an amazing.
Family of Blood. That's a very good one. I think personally for me, I'm gonna have to go Waters of Mars, and that's not necessarily because of everyone else loving it, but it's like I'm just a massive science
I love
fiction
that.
nerd. I love space travel as well. I'm really interested in that, and just like the whole thing about traveling to different planets like Mars and stuff in contemporary. I'm just really into that. So I think just based on that, not even going into Time Lord Victorious, I think that's my favorite Tennant.
How we set these new stories up from Time Lord Victorious, obviously that's with Curse of Hemingway set up, and a ton of new stories. It's interesting, and it's interesting how this is a starting point for that piece.
I haven't even experienced the David Tennant Time Lord Victorious stuff yet.
I haven't yet, probably either. Don't worry. Well, I will soon.
Well, you read the comics, so
I've read the comics, yeah, but he's not as much going on as some of the books. So obviously, if we go over to Matt Smith, obviously, because I think there's a few good stories to Smith's Doctor. Now, I think Matt Smith's Doctor, personally, what would you say is a great story for him?
Pardon? Sorry, I was just reading the comments. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next Doctor stuff.
That's right.
Really excited.
Same.
Favorite,
I'm really excited for that. The ninth.
favorite 11th.
Yeah.
You know what?
Actually, if I was
I
going to be
think
cliched, the Doctor's wife.
Doctor's wife. I don't know. Like, it's a good one, but I think for me, it's gonna have to be
Okay.
Time of the Angels, Flesh and Stone. I just really love that one. And Series 5 as a whole is one of my favorite seasons.
I think I'm gonna have to say Vincent the Doctor, Doctor's wife. That's my top.
They're
They're
very
two
good.
one. To answer your question, I'm so excited when Ninth Doctor do return to Big Finish. It's absolutely amazing. I've got the vinyl pre-order, which is awesome. So that's gonna be awesome to get. Obviously, and moving to Capaldi. So obviously, Capaldi, what do you think for him?
Probably Mummy on the Orient Express.
Heaven Sent.
Heaven Sent. I've never been that keen on it. Like, if it was good, but the more I watch it, the less I enjoy it. And especially with Hellbent, it just sort of ruins it.
Yeah, I think it's a story I do love it as a singular story. To be fair.
But I feel like it just gets overhyped, and although it is good, I don't necessarily know if it deserves the credit it gets. But that's just me.
I think Capaldi's performance, just being a singular character, was one role it works. He is outstanding in that story. To be fair, I mean that shows Capaldi's talent as the Doctor. What say is a good Capaldi story?
Mummy on the Orient Express. I mean, I don't know about anyone else, but I just love his character in Series 8. I felt like he hit the nail on the head, but everyone else seems to think, oh, it's not that good, or he
Series
still needs
10
better work.
is
For me,
the
I feel
Capaldi.
like Series 10 has too much of Series 9 in him, and I'm not keen on Series 9 of him. So
I get that. I get that. Series 9 is not my favourite for Capaldi, but I think I have a soft spot for it. But the rest, probably Series 10, is the Capaldi where it's halfway point to 9 and 8 and 10. It's kind of mixed together. All right, so Jodie, this can be a bit of a. This can be a one.
My favourite is probably going to have to be Demons of the Punjab, but I've got a lot of problems with it. I think that it should have been a pure historical. Like, the aliens were shoehorned in there; they had no place for it, and it just damaged the story. But the human aspect and everything else about it is probably the best Jodie Whittaker story for me.
I'm going to say Spyfall Part 1 and 2. Spyfall it's got ideas already used. I think Series 12 is a massive improvement. It's much better for cast star. But I think it's not my favourite, but I do really enjoy the Master reveal. I think he's really good, and I personally do really enjoy that scene, especially at the end of Part 2. Obviously, as we go on, there's a few, obviously, the Roof Doctor. See if the Roof Doctor gets any more episodes going on, who knows. But obviously, we do have a couple of comments. So Sleep No More. I'm going to be a minority, and I actually really enjoy that story.
Yeah,
Sorry, don't hate me. It's not the best, but I enjoy it.
I wouldn't have been disappointed if we got a sequel to it, like it was planned. But I also love Empress of Mars, so I'm not going to complain that we got that instead.
Oh yeah, I mean I see why it does cause motion sickness. Sleep No More. It's one of them stories. I do love how it's so different.
I mean,
with
that's
the movement and and it's just overall, it's a very unique story. I really, apart from that, but I mean, that's obviously all for now. Obviously, you've got a health and bit for yourself, Rob. Obviously, thank you so much for watching, guys. It's been really fun. I want to do this a lot more, honestly, and have some really cool news and having some chats.
Yeah, it's been really fun. Thanks everyone for joining.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to put a video up, obviously, on my channel to ask if you get any questions you want to ask, and then we're going to do obviously a live stream, get that planned, and we'll do some and some questions of all of us. Obviously, would you like to join that at some point, Rob, or what?
Yeah, sure. That'll be fun. Today's been great, so doing more of it would be brilliant.
I'd have to get a sorted. Obviously, thank you for watching, guys. If you want to ask anything, please, will answer anything, especially. And also remember, check out Rob's artwork. Obviously, it's Dr. Artwork on Instagram. And I'll try and leave a link to that in the description. Obviously, he does really cool artwork. And he even started your own business up.
Yeah, I'm even running my own business. So I graduated from uni now, and I'm pushing forward to creating artwork, watercolor pieces of wildlife and animals. If that's your thing, then check me out as well on Instagram. Aaron will put the link down below. So
yeah, I mean, definitely. And if there's anything you like, you definitely get. But obviously, it's a big help. And I think overall, it's really a great piece, especially since it's got my phone already. Apart from that, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day. Stay safe, and I will see you later.
bye.
Bye.